Shmaya, getting started right now in Biyam Darkecha, the last week of the Omer. We're very few days, we're within the 3 days of Agbalah, the 3 days of separation, of limitation, of waiting, anticipation for the Holy Torah. That was said by Hashem and Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe added a day from himself, from his own mind. And right now we're getting prepared to receive the Torah. But we're in our Avodah, so we're completing the 7th of the Midot, the 7 of the weeks, tonight in the Omer. And we're going to be learning a little bit about the inner aspects of the Midah of Malchut and the way it's acted in the world. The Malchut in English, kingship, action, this world that we're in. Every kind of Rav Turjman famously says, the only sphere that we have to actually engage with is Malchut. And everything else is way above us, so we have no real comprehension, even though we've spent now 7 weeks learning about Midot, right? The only one we engage with is Baruch Hashem the Malchut. So let's go in. Midat Malchut mahutahi hakoach leotzi dvarim el hapol v'lasotam lemaaseh mamash. What is Malchut? The ability to take things and to bring them out into actuality and to do physical, real-world actions. With the sphere of Malchut, Hashem made this world in actuality. With Malchut, He created everything. And He gives existence and vitality and life and leads and rules over everything. Everything that happens in actuality with the creations, it's all coming down by way of the Midah of Malchut. What is the power of Malchut? To take the infinite light, the Ein Sof, which is a simple light, meaning just one light, no complexity to it, just the light of the Ein Sof, bilti gvuli, without any limitations, and to reveal it in a way of limitations. To take that light, that infinite light, and to reveal it in a way that's fitting for the creations. In a way that it should be, their existence should have some kind of connection back to Hashem. Malchut is also called the Shechina, the presence of Hashem in the world. By way of Malchut, that the light of Hashem, the Shechina, is revealed in the world. And the power to create the creations, and to dwell among them. All of the things that we engage with as creations, it's all by way of Malchut. Everything's by way of Malchut. What's the work in the Midah of Malchut? When Hashem Yitbarach starts to illuminate onto a person the light of Malchut, and a person clings to the Holy Shechina, and the Shechina starts to dwell on the person, it causes the person to feel tangibly Emunah, belief in Hashem, loyalty to Hashem. The whole entire reality of the creation was done by way of this trait of Malchut. When a person recognizes this, that person straight away is filled with Emunah in Hashem, that He created everything. Your soul clearly recognizes the reality of the supernal being. Baruch Hu, blesses He. Person who believes, was Emunah, he's happy with everything he's going through. He remembers there's a master to the capital. Everything is done by way of Hashem, and it's all for your good. What is the actual work, the practical work of Malchut? To take upon yourself the yoke of the heaven, the yoke of the kingship of heaven, meaning to take upon yourself the Torah. When a person recognizes the reality of the Creator, you have to recognize who you're dealing with, submit yourself to Him, give in to the will of the Creator, and take upon His will, blessed be He. What's the idea of taking upon yourself the yoke of the kingship of Hashem? To live out the will of Hashem, meaning the halacha, keep the Torah with all your might. Even when you don't feel like it. and to be a servant in front of his master. ובדבר זה הוא יסוד כל העבודה. This is the foundation of all the work, all of the spiritual work we have. Like Rabbeinu Yonah wrote, right? Rabbeinu Yonah is a Shari Tshuva, one of the masters in the time of the Rambam. Just a little part about him is amazing tzaddik. Rabbeinu Yonah had a machloket against the Rambam to the point that it caused the Rambam's books to be burnt in France. And then he was against the Rambam's books, and then it got to a point that the Talmud was burnt in France. And when he saw that the Talmud was being burnt after he made a big machloket against the Rambam, he went around the whole entire of Europe teaching Rambam. And he has a whole book on Tshuva. Even though he had machloket against Rambam, he went around the rest of his days teaching Rambam throughout the world just to, to make the peace. She'eved shomer l'rabo, right? So Rabbeinu Yonah says, a slave, a servant that says to his master, "Aseh kol ma shetomar elai, chutz midavar echad, kvar parak ol rabo me'alav." If a slave says to his master, "I'll do everything you tell me except for one thing," he already took the whole entire yoke off of his neck. What do you mean except for one thing? You're a slave. It's not. What do you mean? You don't have a choice here. Because it's clear that what he does do, he's not doing it because he's obliged, because he wants to do it. Everything, the things that you are willing to do is because you feel like it, not because you're commanded. What's the proof? What you don't want to do, you won't do. Therefore you have to take upon yourself to do everything that you can. Even if you don't have any desire or pull towards that action or that mitzvah. Taking upon yourself the kingship of heaven specifically comes down to a person on things that you think are small things that don't matter so much. But truly that's where you're tested, that's where you're measured. How much are you really a servant of Hashem? Everybody knows where they need to strengthen themselves. To take upon yourself the kingship of heaven. Everyone needs to do their own cheshbon nefesh and check themselves. We all know ourselves deep down. Included in the general principle of taking upon yourself the yoke of heaven, to be happy with all the work that Hashem gave you to do. Don't think, I specifically want the loftier ones. I want the more special mitzvahs. I want the ones that are going to be a lot of light. Any situation that Hashem puts you in, you're going to do whatever the commandment is from Hashem with happiness. Right? In the situation that I'm in. If this is the will of my master, then it's my will. I'm going to do it with joy, quickly, and with passion. Included in the idea of Malchut is also the idea of tefillah, connecting to Hashem through prayer. Tefillah is an outcome, a product of Emunah. The more a person merits that his heart should believe in Hashem, and you know that everything's in the hand of Hashem, so you're going to turn to him about everything. Tefillah is not only Shachrit, Mincha, and Arvit. Anytime you open your mouth to talk to Hashem is an aspect of Malchut. Speaking to Hashem is also an outcome of Emunah. And it also strengthens your Emunah. When you get used to talking to Hashem about everything you're going through, and you request from Him everything that you need, to say thank you Hashem for everything, you're getting your soul used to feeling the reality of Hashem in the world. Emunah now for you, for that person that talks to Hashem about everything, his emunah now is alive. He feels it, it's tangible. Right? So how do we elevate the light of Malchut? The sumira, the thing that you want to avoid or get away from, is to get over depression, sadness, and laziness.
Those are the biggies.
Yeah. Atzlut v'atzvut mekoram b'yesod ha'afar. Right? They're rooted in the element of earth, depression and laziness. Right? Like it's explained in Shari Kedusha of Chaim Vital. And the earth, hu yesod ha'shayach l'midat ha'malchut. That belongs to Malchut. And Arizal explains in a few different places. And therefore, the blemishes of earth, the blemishes of this element of earth, the tikkun afar and the rectification of the element of earth, they are directly related to the rectification and the blemishes of Malchut, right? The whole entire idea of laziness and a depression, meaning what arouses inside of a person this feeling of laziness and depression, is just godly light that's being sent to the person, the light of Malchut, the light of taking upon yourself the ability to do things no matter what you're feeling like in any situation. This light is sent to you to wake you up. You're right now, when you feel lazy, when you feel depressed, sad, what is really happening to you? Hashem sending you the light to believe in Him, to be happy, to be quick to serve Him. But since we sin and we have mistakes that we've made, the power is given to the klipa to cover up the light, and it covers it up and it puts this garment on, and it appears as if the light belongs to the klipa. And then instead of the light coming straight to the person in a clear way, and the Jew sees and feels how from Shamayim they're giving your soul the ability to serve Hashem and happiness and to be happy, instead of that, it gets covered up until it feels that a person is sad and depressed and doesn't want to do anything. Depression and sad and laziness, they are the complete opposite of the ideas of Malchut, right? It's there, that's why they're rooted, and it's rooted in the same place, because it's the exact opposite side of the coin. What is depression? What is sadness? I lack Emunah in the kingship of Hashem. I don't believe that He's doing the best for me right now and is all for me. So I am sad that my life is not how I see it should be, because I don't recognize Hashem's ruling. If a person would live out Emunah properly, and you recognize the light of truth completely, you could never get depressed, you could never get sad. Rather, you would be happy with your portion. Laziness, what's the other word? Lethargy?
Lethargy.
Yeah, that is an outcome of depression. If you don't have vitality, if you don't have life, you don't have a spark in you, and you don't have joy, then you don't feel like doing anything. Laziness is the opposite of taking upon yourself the work that you have to do, like the slave, no matter what you feel. It's the opposite of that. That's in Malchut, right? If you would recognize that Hashem really runs the world and He gave us a Torah to follow, you would for sure run to do all of the mitzvot in front of the great, awesome king. What's the way to fix this? First things first, you have to overcome the depression and the laziness. You have to force yourself to get into a mood of happiness and to be quick to go do things. How do you do this? External actions. Force yourself to clap your hands, to dance, to sing, to do things that are going to cause you to get out of your funk, to get in a happy mood, things that make you happy, right? Not false vanity things that make you happy. Real actions of dancing, of helping someone, of going out of your way to do something, and actions of quickness. Like it's written in Mesilat Yesharim, the Ramchal. Huh? Yeah, the path of the just, right? What does it say there? Eitzah tova hi shizdarez berotzono ki atnuah chitzona me'oret hapnimit veyoter mesura biyada chitzona me'apnimit. In Mesilat Yesharim, the Ramchal, Rav Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, zchuto yagin aleinu amen, he says a good piece of advice is that you should be quick in the will of Hashem. Why? Because the motion, the external motion, arouses the internal motions, and you have more power over your external actions than your internal emotions. right? So go do something and do it quickly so that it will arouse a fire inside of you, because that's really all you can do, because it's much harder to arouse a fire inside of you without doing an external action. And he continues, if you use what's in your hand, if you use the ability you do have right now, in the future you'll acquire the ability that you don't have yet. You will give birth to internal joy inside of you, and this passion and this desire, this endearment, right? The more you move with passion and fire, the more you're going to give birth to passion and fire inside your heart. After you manage to get over this depression and this laziness, to get yourself out of the funk by moving and doing external things, you go into quickness and into joy. Go into the feelings of Emunah and taking upon yourself the whole entire Torah. When you overcome and you take this light that came down covered in klipa, covered in depression, covered in laziness, and you take that light in and you start to now use it to go into Emunah and into taking upon yourself the Torah, by way of this you uproot the depression and the laziness from their root, and you take the spark and the light that's hidden inside them and you use it in the right way, in the proper way. By way of you acquiring, by working on it, working on your Emunah and taking upon yourself the Torah properly, by way of doing that and moving into that motion, when you don't feel like it, you don't feel like doing your mitzvah, you're depressed, and because you're depressed now you're lazy, but now you start to move and you start to get up and clap your hands and sing and dance because you can't go to Arvit and you don't want to go to Arvit, but you start to get yourself up just to snap out of the funk. You dance a little bit in your house, right? And then you go to wash your hands and you walk fast to the shul to go pray because you don't want to do it. So you have to do external actions because that's all is in your power. You can't change how you feel inside, but you can change how you're acting physically. So you do that. In the future, you're going to acquire happiness. You're going to acquire more Emunah, and you're going to acquire this passion to move fast to do the will of Hashem like a slave in front of his master. In the whole complete idea. Anytime a person feels depression and laziness, straight away go into the work of Malchut. Take upon yourself Malchut Shamayim with power and with great simcha, and to feel strongly in your heart the fire of Emunah. What's the yichud of Malchut? The Shem HaKadosh, the holy name that belongs to Malchut, is Adnut. Aleph Dalet, and then Nun and a Yud. Or Yud Ke Vav Ke with no vowels. Right? Or Chataf, Patach, Cholem, Kometz. Or Shvak, Kometz, Vecholem. There's different ways you can do it, like Tzvakot in a way. Right? Tzvakot is right, Tzvakot, right? That's one of the ways you can do it as well. Whatever, different, I'll show you afterwards. When a person wants to arouse the light of Emunah and taking upon yourself the Torah in your soul, have intention on this name, Yud Ke Vav Ke without any dots, or Adnut. And while thinking on this holy name in your brain, drawing the letters in your closed eyes with your third eye, right? Start to going to feeling in your heart Emunah and taking upon yourself the yoke of your master in front of the king, blessed be he, in front of Hashem. He's the master over everything and we are his servants. By way of the auspicious feeling of thinking of this holy name, the light of Malchut comes down to you, and it will help you to arouse in your heart more and more and more the feelings of Emunah and taking upon yourself the will of the king, of Hashem. It also helps you to arouse Emunah and taking upon yourself the mitzvah of the Torah and to strengthen them, and it also helps you to get out of depression and out of laziness that has come into you. Straight away when you feel depression and laziness, you go into feeling Emunah and taking upon yourself the Torah in front of Hashem. And by way of having contemplation of this holy name in your head, you are arousing all of this and getting out of this. What is Malchut? Another thing with Malchut is the gate to get, right? Ashar shel hakol v'atachlit shel hakol. It's the gate of everything, and it's the purpose of everything. V'ina avodat Malchut, the work of Malchut, she asagat emunah b'Hashem yitbarach, which is the acquisition and the comprehension and the emunah in Hashem. Hi be'etzem avodah shel kol sfirot. At its core, it's the work of all of the sfirot. Everything that we have and any connection that we have with Hashem, at its root, they're all connected at one point, which is Emunah. It's all about Emunah. And Emunah is Malchut. But in Malchut, here we're working on the root of everything. And it's the gate for all of the work, all of the service of Hashem. When a person works hard to acquire clear emunah at the core of the reality of Hashem, and how Hashem rules the world, and he starts to live out this emunah, it's a mistake here. That's why it's confusing. When you feel this truly, right, the true reality of Hashem in the world, you start to actually subdue yourself and give into that in practicality, in action. You start to do the will of the king simply, because that's what you feel, that's what you know. You've given into that reality. The way that you're taking upon yourself the work that you need to do. When you start to take upon Hashem's will and you put yours to the side, the gates of work, of service of Hashem, the gates of tefillah, the gates of everything start to open up for you. Now that you've taken upon the will of Hashem without going, right, like a slave who doesn't ask, hey, I'll do everything you tell me except for one thing, right? You do everything because you don't have a side in this. You just move quickly to do everything. When you do that, then you merit to deepen and to rectify and to expand your connection with the Shekhinah. And to get to deeper emunah that you feel, that's tangible. To deeper and deeper work connected to Hashem at the core. Here in the work of Malchut, which is emunah and taking upon myself the Torah, it's the beginning of everything. It's the beginning of all the services you could ever do in your life. Bitul, dveikut, ta'anug, anything that you want. It starts with emunah and Malchut. And taking upon yourself the work of Hashem. Without emunah, and without taking upon yourself the whole entire Torah, a person cannot begin to ascend on the mountain of Hashem. But they're also the purpose and the end all. Not only is the gate to start everything, it's the point of everything. All the different types of levels and services of Hashem, and the different midot, the traits and the things that we have to work on, and the different revelations. What's the purpose of everything? To get more emunah, on a higher and a deeper level. So we work on emunah and we work on taking upon ourselves the whole entire Torah without asking questions, according to where we are. What is the outcome of that? The gate is open for us. Now we start to experience Hashem in a deeper way. We're feeling and we're living the Shekhinah. And what is the outcome of that? That now we have more emunah. L'shimcha v'lizrichecha ta'avat nafesh. Right? V'malchut nikret shmo shel Hashem yitbarach. Malchut is called the name of Hashem. L'chaim, l'chaim. Ki kmo she'Hashem yitbarach, like Hashem, megale et mahut hadavar. Kmo she'Hashem megale et mahut hadavar. Like the name reveals the essence of the thing. Kacha Malchut megalet or ein sof. So too Malchut reveals the infinite light, the or ein sof. Ve'alei ne'emar b'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shmo echad. Malchut, about it is said, on that day, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei will be one, and his name, meaning his expression, will be one, and his essence will be one. The core and the way it's expressed in the world will be one. What is the explanation? Shi'eh yichud kudsha brichu u'shchinte. the essence of Hashem and the way it's revealed in the world will become unified. This is the main part of the internal aspect of all of our service of Hashem. To connect to the Holy Shekhinah. Meaning, to connect to Hashem in an internal way. Alive, vital. To feel that Hashem is dwelling here with us right now, mamash. Hashem cares about us, and He cares about how we feel about our relationship with Him. This is the aspect of the Shekhinah. It's revealing that Hashem is dwelling here in us. Hashem wants a relationship with us. If a person merits to be connected in his heart with all his heart to Hashem, the only thing he's going to be seeking out in life is that relationship, to strengthen that relationship. Everything I'm doing is only to give him some kind of pride, some kind of tranquility, some kind of happiness that his son's doing the will that he put in the world. And to increase his honor in the world. You're not looking for your own success to become a rabbi, to become known. It's not about you. Even if it's a spiritual goal. You're not trying to be a genius and a tzaddik and a rebbe and some kind of teacher or something. Someone on a level. Everything that we just mentioned, that's not for the sake of Hashem. That's for you. Right? The rabbis teach us, you have to come to Lishma. Meaning, in the beginning, we're permitted, I'm not learning Torah, so let me go in order to become wiser, or whatever it is, let me start learning Torah. After a while, if you're sincere and you start to learn Torah, the whole thing's about put yourself down for the will of Hashem, right? Not because you're nothing, but you're nothing without Hashem. All you are is here to reveal Hashem. After a while of learning Torah, to become wiser, you should realize that it's not about that, and go to learning it just to connect to Hashem. The real purpose of our work is to connect to the Shekhinah, to connect to Hashem. To give some kind of gift up to Hashem, right? Some kind of tranquility, some kind of good feeling, whatever that means, to Hashem. The connection and the revelation of God, that is the goal, and that is the purpose. Like David HaMelech, which is Ilulah's coming now in Shavuot, it wasn't enough for David HaMelech to do what his chores, right? What he was commanded to do. He had a real connection with Hashem, a real relationship. He was living a relationship with Hashem. David HaMelech saw Hashem in every single fine detail of his life. This is the secret of Malchut, which is the Shekhinah, the presence of Hashem in this world. Since David HaMelech was connected in an emotional relationship with the Shekhinah, David became this chariot, this vehicle for the expression of Malchut in the world. It's a revelation of Hashem in the world to be upon them a king, to be connected in their whole entire heart. Right? It says that the king of Israel, especially David HaMelech, that he was the heart of the nation. He felt the problems of everybody. That's why we can all find ourselves in Tehillim. Tehillim are his own personal tefillot, his own personal itbodedut, but we all find ourselves in those situations. It could be two people, put them right next to each other. They're both learning, they're both praying, they're both working on dveikut. One really cares about the honor of heaven, and the other one less. One really, it bothers him that there's no temple. It bothers him that the temple was destroyed and hasn't been rebuilt. And the other one, he does his dveikut, he learns and he does, but it doesn't really bother him so much that there's no temple in Jerusalem. Whoever's worried about their own levels, and you're only trying to perfect yourself, he doesn't have so much room in his heart to think about Hashem. The only reason you're working on dveikut is so that you can perfect yourself. What does the Shekhinah become for that person? A tool to rectify himself. Whoever cares really about Hashem himself, he's clinging to Hashem with a real relationship. He's connected to the Holy Shekhinah. That kind of person that cares about the Shekhinah, that cares about Hashem, he cares about Hashem being revealed in this world. He feels the pain and it hurts him to know that the Shekhinah is in pain. And on the disgrace of her honor. Because he feels close to Hashem. The Shekhinah is deep inside his heart. And he loves Hashem and he's clinging to him in truth. So he's happy with the honor of Hashem. And it hurts him when he sees the disgrace of this honor of Hashem. Like a son who would be very taken back and very hurt if he were to see his father being disgraced, embarrassed, put down in public. A son is the father. You're connected to him at the deepest part of you. You are an extension of your father. If you see your father being disgraced in public, it hurts you. It make you cry. You don't think about what for me is going to be the outcome, what's for me is the benefit. You think about the outcome and the benefit for the Shekhinah, the honor of the Shekhinah. Because you're connected to the Shekhinah with true love. Whoever is really connected, right, with love, you care then about and you worry about the pain of your friend with all of your heart. And you're also happy whenever he has a reason to be happy. It's not about what am I going to get out of feeling my friend's pain? What am I going to get out of feeling happy for him? No, if you're really connected to him, you would be happy with him and you would be sad for him in the times that he's going through. This is what's called a relationship with the Shekhinah. A connection of proper closeness, of being close to the Shekhinah. You feel one with Hashem. Like a son and his father. You live this out in the world from a place of actually caring what's going on. Right? It's not about me, it's about my relationship to Hashem. So there's a whole recap here of all of the midot. I don't know if we can go through this. It's for another time, but B'ezrat Hashem, that's the idea of the Malchut. To summarize, Malchut is Emunah, it's Kabbalat Ol Malchut Shamayim, right? Believing Hashem, being loyal to Hashem, and taking upon the will of Hashem when you feel it and when you don't feel it, being quick to move and to do the will of Hashem. And the opposite sides of that, and things that we have to elevate, sometimes those lights of the ability to have Emunah in Hashem, to be loyal to Hashem, and to do His will quickly, and to take upon us the whole entire Torah without questions. The opposite side of that is sometimes Hashem sends us that light because we've sinned, because we have previous gilgulim, because of the situation of the generation, because of all of these different things. Sometimes that same light, the ability to connect to Hashem, is sent through the klipa. The klipa has it and covers it up, and it appears and it gets sent to us in emotions of depression, and the outcome of the emotions of depression is laziness. Those two emotions, when you feel depressed, when you feel lazy, really what happens right now is Hashem sending you the ability of Malchut. He's sending you the light of Malchut. What do you have to do? Some kind of external action to break out of the funk that you're in, right? You don't feel like moving? Clap your hands, get up, dance, sing a nigun, do something, help a friend, call someone, do something, say a joke, snap out of the depression, snap out of the laziness. And the second you step out of the depression, you start to get happiness in your, arouse happiness in your heart. Now you can be quick to go do the mitzvot. Now you can go run to shul to catch the minyan. Now you can get out of your house, you can go to the shul, you can do whatever it is, right? Because you're in a funk and you have to get out of it. How do you get out of it? The only way, the Mesilat Yesharim taught us today, the only way that we can really, the only ability we have is to do an external action. Because we can't really control our emotions inside. we can't change them in a second. It's like, oh, I know I need to believe in Hashem, I'm just going to believe in Hashem. Sometimes we have to do motions, and when we do external motions, that causes an emotion inside. Right? Motion causes the emotion inside. And then we can break out of the funk and we can go do the will of Hashem. And then that is the opening to all of the gates of the work, to dveikud, bitul, tefillah, everything, limud the Torah, everything comes down to that. And once we do that, again, it's the purpose is to come back to more Emunah, back to more Emunah. So the whole entire cycle, and there's levels. That's why Malchut and Keter are connected, right? Where one starts, the other one begins. The bottom of Malchut, when it goes into the next Keter, then you're feeling their immense pleasure and desire. Pleasure and desire are right after you break through Malchut, right? And then you go through all the experience again until you get back down, and then you get levels and levels and levels. But this is our whole entire job. And the beginning and the end of everything that we're trying to do is to come to a place of Emunah and more recognition of Hashem, that we can live Him out. B'ezrat Hashem, may we all be blessed to go into Shavuot and to receive the Torah b'pnimiyut and b'chitzoniyut, to believe that Hashem is in every single fine detail of this life, whether it's spiritual or physical, whether it appears that there's light there or not. We know that if it's in existence and I can see it with my own eyes, and whether I can't see it or not, it's all by way of the light of Hashem. May we all be blessed to take upon ourselves all 620 mitzvot from the Torah and from the Rabbanim, and unify them together to pray to Hashem with the whole entire heart, to be connected to David HaMelech, which is the Malchut, the vehicle of the Malchut in this world, and the soul of the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh also in Shavuot. And B'ezrat Hashem, we receive the Torah b'simcha b'a'ava, b'pnimiyut, b'chitzoniyut.